so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Thank you for having me. My name is Jenny, aka Chef Shakoy, and I am the owner and creator of Buku Vegan. I specialize in all different types of food and desserts, but I veganize all of it.
What got you started in vegan cooking and what inspired you to create Buku Vegan?
So I've been vegan for almost 10 years now, and I actually thought that I wanted to be a chef when I was in high school, but I decided against it. But, fate had a different direction for me. So I ended up learning about cooking after about 5 years into, or maybe, yeah, about 5 years into veganism. And I decided to learn how to make different styles of food and be able to sustain myself without just eating, stuff from a can or anything that was frozen.
What are the health benefits and environmental impact of embracing a vegan lifestyle?
Okay, so the health benefits are, for me at least personally, I feel a lot more energized. I feel that I have a lot more, I don't get sick as often, not as many ailments, and it just makes me feel better. And then it also goes into the carbon footprint with the environment. I feel like I'm not having as much of an impact on the environment. I mean, I'm still learning, I'm not perfect, but it allows me to have a deeper understanding on what's on my plate and that relationship between me and what I'm eating and also why I'm choosing to eat it.
How does Buku Vegan engage the community?
So I do a lot of markets. I do a lot of pop-ups, and doing so, I end up talking to a lot of the members of the community. So whether it's them wanting to learn more about veganism or vegetarianism, or just having an understanding of the relationship between them and their food, and then again the impact that they make, I guess, with the world and their carbon footprint. So it's really nice because I get to talk to so many different types of people and I get to teach them how to either be vegan or little changes that they can make within their lives and their everyday life and how to essentially be better. So it's definitely a wonderful thing for me and I love to be able to talk to people about it.
Are there opportunities for the locals to get involved?
Absolutely. Because there are so many markets that happen, people can absolutely volunteer and they can go to different food banks or they can be involved in and just ask questions about what is it that they're eating that can affect them and their future and their health. So there's so many different documentaries, there are so many different, articles and just different means of educating themselves. So I think just asking questions is a very powerful way to get involved, even just as a start.
What are the common misconceptions about vegan food and how do you address them in your cooking?
Okay, my favorite thing is that just because something is vegan does not mean that it's healthy for you. There is a list on, I believe, PETA, but you can just Google accidentally vegan foods. For example, Oreos are technically considered vegan. Certain Doritos, I think like the purple bag, are considered vegan, but does not mean that it's healthy for you if you eat it every single day.
You mean
So
Oreos are not healthy?
you'd be surprised. So, yeah, just having that understanding that, I've had people tell me that they went vegan, but all they ate was pasta, rice, and French fries. So if you're just consistently eating that, you're not going to get a six pack, anytime soon. So I think that it is important to understand that more plant-based is definitely vegan encompasses everything. So the junk food, the healthy food, everything. I think being more plant-based would be so much that you're kind of eliminating a lot of that stuff where like the Oreos and Doritos and stuff. But I think that's a huge common misconception that just because it's vegan, that it's healthy for you. And that can't be farther from the truth.
How do you make vegan food accessible and appealing to a broader audience?
So I love to eat lots of different colors. So colorful foods. So purple cabbage, tomatoes, spinach, and just eating the rainbow essentially, fruits. It's nature's candy. So I like to incorporate that and then let people know that, you don't necessarily have to buy the most expensive things. There are ways to do so where it is financially accessible for you. It doesn't have to be expensive, which I think is another common misconception, is that veganism has to be super expensive when it doesn't really need to be. I think just getting down to the core of, like, your rice and beans, and then your sides of like vegetables and or quinoa and stuff. But I, like I said, personally love to eat the rainbow. So I anything that catches my eye that I know is going to be healthy for me, then I'm going to be consuming that. But lots of different colors, lots of different foods, and not limiting myself within that range.
What's next for Buku Vegan? Are there any upcoming events or new menus, items that you can tease us with?
So I am working on doing a lot more markets. There's one called the Orlando International Vegan Food Festival that happens downtown in Orlando on Wall Street. So I've been a part of that. So I will be continuing that, as well as a bunch of other different markets that happen within Orlando. I specialize in Haitian vegan food. So I do a lot of different versions of rice and beans, and then I make my own version of pork, but I use jackfruit. I'm working on creating a sandwich with that pork that I make, pork, and different variations of cakes as well, because I also do desserts. So I want to create, like, again, being Haitian, how the Spanish community has tres leche. I want to make my own version, but with Haitian ingredients, and just get that rolling out and figure out how to get some sauces that I make and get that out on the market and see how I can really expand and get that out there for people to indulge and enjoy.
So it's been said that you like to say love is always the first ingredient. How do you ensure that love and quality shine through in your dishes?
For one, if I'm making Haitian food, best believe I am blasting Haitian music. So compa, certain soca, zouk, and stuff. So I am always making sure that whenever I am cooking, preparing anything, that I am in the right headspace mentally, physically, emotionally, because the energy that I have and that I'm carrying at that moment will for sure transfer into the food. So I want to make sure that I am in lifted spirits and that nothing is getting in my way of me and being able to serve people great quality food. That's, of course, always made with love.
So we do have an activity here. We have several ingredients and play a little game. So I'm going to randomly pick some, and these two I'm just going to put out in everything: salt and pepper.
Okay,
Right? Because it adds some flavor.
sure, absolutely.
We have this one that's Italian dressing.
Okay,
Oh,
peppers.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do something with this. If you can.
Beans.
So let me just share the camera. So we have salt and pepper. We have some beans. Stoplight peppers. Right? And then some, it looks like some homemade dressing here of some
Yes.
sort.
Yeah. So, would it be that I'm using these ingredients to make one dish, or something for each ingredient?
One dish.
One
Is
dish.
that even possible?
I think so.
So this is a challenge that if someone has just stuff in their refrigerator that they could just grab, and this is all they have in their refrigerator,
Sure.
can they make something?
Absolutely. So, salt and pepper, to me, especially salt, is essential, because it's not to make the food salty, but it enhances the flavor of whatever it is that you're cooking. And pepper will give it a nice little spice, so that's always good. I definitely use grapeseed oil personally. I like how they added different herbs in there to give it a little more of a kick, more flavor, more depth. Peppers. I love when peppers are grilled, or if they're sauteed really, really, really well. I'm not sure how I would incorporate beans and the peppers unless you're doing like a fajita style kind of, dish, if you had onions and tomatoes and kind of cook it all down. But another thing you could do is a stuffed pepper. So you could char grill the peppers, take out the insides, cut it open so that way it's just like a hollow pepper, You can bake that in the oven, you could cook it on the grill, and then you can add all of your different ingredients. So if you had rice or quinoa or cauliflower rice or anything, and then added any of the types of beans that you had, add your salt and pepper, some oil, and then add that into the oven, then you just made a really delicious stuffed pepper. And let it cook for, I would say, about 45 or so minutes at maybe 350 degrees, and you have yourself a party on a plate.
Really try to mix these up. Just hopefully I don't pick the same ones. Oh, string beans, onions. I'm going to show the camera here. Oops. Peppers again, but we can see what variation we could.
Yes. So I see red onions. That's the first thing that caught my eye. I love to make pickled red onions. You could do it different ways. So you could chop up the onions julienne, which just means that they're kind of longer pieces. Put it in some vinegar, or you could do lime juice, add a little bit of salt, and then like a teaspoon or so of sugar. Let that sit for a few hours, and it'll make it to where it's not as, I guess, acidic, and it'll soften it, and it tastes so good. You could just eat them raw just like that. Or you can caramelize it. So take that oil and saute it over the pan on a low heat and let that cook. Add your salt and pepper. That would be incredible. With green beans, you could also throw them on a cast iron, kind of grill them down a little bit, or you can make, if you wanted to, green bean casserole. I tend to eat that during the holidays, like for Thanksgiving or Christmas. But green beans are also really good for you. Or you can even make like a gazpacho with it, not necessarily a gazpacho, like a stew. So if you cut and dice the onions, cut and dice the peppers, as well as the green beans, you can add your oil, salt, and pepper, and kind of mix it together in a bowl and make like your own little version of like a salsa. The snap peas or the green beans would add like a nice crunch, and so would the peppers, but I probably would still grill the peppers just to give it some more depth. And I love when stuff is grilled because it kind of, again, enhances the flavor and just gives it a different profile. So I would definitely incorporate all of that in that way.
I think you're doing a great job. We'll do one more here.
Thank you. Or even like a green bean soup too. That could be good with the onions.
Yeah. Got beans again?
Beans.
Onions. And olive oil, maybe salad dressing mix. I'm going to throw in a fourth one in here. Oh, green beans.
Green beans again.
Actually, how about we throw in all of it? So we have garlic and tomatoes as well as the peppers. And let's see what kind of wonderful meal we can make out of all of this.
Yum. So I would absolutely saute the onions and the garlic, add that as the base with the oil, grill the peppers as well as the green beans, and create almost like my own version of a salsa. I feel like that would be really fun and good. And because of all of the colors, especially with the peppers and the tomatoes, you're eating the rainbow. So I think it's a win-win. And the crunch would come from the green beans, and you could use any bean that you want, and then the oil would just kind of bring it all together. Add your salt and pepper for flavor, and tomatoes are just always a good idea, so definitely add the tomatoes in there. But yeah, I think your own version of a salsa or a pico de gallo would be really, really delectable.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate this. Thank you for having me.
How can people learn more and stay in touch?
So you could follow me on social media. I'm working on a website right now for people to be able to access me a lot easier. But I am on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook or email. You can find me at Buku Vegan across all platforms. And slide in my DMs or email me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you're enjoying this show, please subscribe to our channel and follow our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts.